Hey guys, I'm back. Another day, another video. I actually didn't think I was going to be doing a video. It's 10 o'clock in the evening. But I thought, you know what, let me get one out. So I did promise you guys that I would do one a day. Although I'm not feeling 100%. I've got a pinched nerve in my back somehow. It's not been fun. Just going to quickly go over some of my custom mech mods that I have built. Now this is 2 of the 3 that I have built. Obviously number 2 was bought by the owner of Survape. He saw my first one and sort of demanded one. But yeah, so I'm going to go over the first one and the third one. Obviously you've seen my third one in previous videos, just a quick look at, but I'm actually going to show you in depth. Now my first one I ever built is this bad boy. Now this is a Marshall guitar pedal. It used to have LEDs in there. A mate of mine gave it to me because I was chatting about stuffing around with it. Now, a bit bigger than I wanted it originally, but actually it worked out fine because of the space. And for me, the first mod I built was just a bit of a mess around. Obviously it still functions. Both buttons do exactly the same thing. I did that. I was now there's the 510, not brilliantly located. You can see the lip here. I was contemplating putting a second one and actually having both 510s work your different buttons, but time. Upside to this, damn, it's sturdy. You could throw this around and it would be fine. Drawback is, now I don't have any screws in because I've taken them out. Screws holding the back plate in. I haven't figured out how to use magnets to put this thing together. It's pretty difficult to get magnets to actually make this thing into one unit. Now the wiring is a bit of a mess because, let's face it, I'm not an electrician and it was my first mod. Now this is a dual 18650 in parallel, so we're giving 4.2 volts, so it's nothing dangerous, uber high voltage, but still it's a mech with no safety features and no on-off button. Wiring's a bit of a mess. As you can see, I used links that are way too long. If I ever do put a second 510 on, I will obviously rewire this entire thing. There's your 2 battery sleds. You battle to see it's got minus there, plus at the top. And both the buttons are wired in. Now down here I've got shrink wrapped in there. I've got my MOSFET, which is very important, especially if you've got buttons. Now these could probably hold the load, but especially if you've got buttons that can't handle the amp limit that you're trying to put through a mechanical mod. Now that's the majority of the reason why most of mine MOSFET, because I don't want to trust the buttons, so I'd rather have it MOSFET protected, have a slight voltage drop because of it, but be slightly safer than I am. Now, obviously screws, I have to take them out and put them in, so if the batteries do vent, chuck it. And having to always carry around a decent sized screwdriver because of it. Now my second guy you've seen before, I'm going to go a bit more into it, and I've kind of trying to stick the box I carry around in. Now I do carry around in a box for sort of protection and because of what it looks like. But yeah, it's a previously used box from something else that I've just put it in. And yeah, so yes, this was a Cock BB gun, just your 5mm, I think it's 5mm BB pellet gun, that I stuck a 510 into the barrel. Yes, it does come up above, it's not flush, but I wanted to keep it as gun as possible. Now if you were to put a silencer on a gun, I'm guessing that it would protrude slightly between, sorry, it's just turn some, there we go. Yeah, if you put a silencer on, it would protrude slightly. So I thought that was being as authentic as possible. Now the gun, I believe, also I've been told, because I'm not into guns, but the gun, I believe, is very accurate. Obviously the safety doesn't work, but this was the normal release for the mag, which is actually only about this big now and screwed in. As on the previous videos, I did wire it up with a sort of a flippy type button that has it's very difficult to say this, allows for a little bit of play, which was handy, so I could actually get, and if you can actually hear that right at the end, it actually clicks. I was lucky I got that just right. But this, I gutted as much of the insides as possible, and you'd be surprised at how much is actually in one of these things, being a BB gun. I can imagine there's probably more being an actual gun. This is weighted very well, and that's a lot to do with, there's an actual slug, piece of round bar metal in the back of the handle to give it a lot more of the weight. It is cast zinc, I think. So what I did, I took the internals out, and I cut away, and I put two just to make life easier, so I could fit a single 18650 in there. And I've put magnets there and there, and just glued the screws in and cut them shorter. Now one screw isn't quite short enough. I've got to mess with that a little bit later, but hot glue comes in very handy in this situation. A lot of hot glue in here. You won't be able to see it, but the lug is actually in there, and that is magnetized. So it's very nifty. With those two ribbons, you can actually yank both of them, and the battery comes out in one go. And I get dodgy looks and stuff from vaping on this thing. Now there is no worry that it'll fire, because it was a BB gun, and all the inner workings, the gas chamber and the actual mag that pulled the BB gun, the BB from there into here, is all gone. There's no way it's going to fire. The big spring for the gas cylinder is gone. The mag's gone. There is no real issue. But yeah, she is my baby. Don't let a lot of people touch or vape on her. Only good friends, but yeah, she is not for sale. I'm sorry, guys. Because the time it spent me to do this, every time I did something, I found another reason why I regretted starting this project. Let me just put her away. Getting the space to put the MOSFET in, wiring it up, and then having the issue of trying to get that 510. Now your normal 510 it's got a little nut screwing it on. Now obviously I couldn't do that, so I actually had to solder the 510 into the existing barrel, which was a nightmare because the 510 is obviously stainless steel and the barrel is some sort of alloy, of some very, very hard alloy. But I eventually came right with the right kind of solder and the right kind of soldering paste, and ow, I'm in pain. So yeah, that's a quick overview of the two. The third one, if you really want to see it, head down to Sir Vape. It's in the showcase. It's an orange Boss distortion pedal. It's there to have a look at. If you see me there, I'm there most weekends and stuff. If you see me there, ask me about it. chances are I'll have one of these two bad boys with me, and you can come and have a look at it. Got some other projects on the run, but finding the time to do it. I mean, these videos, although, yeah, when do you find time to do these videos? It's literally active, mostly in the car when I'm driving, where I can't really do much, or on a weekend, and it's like, as I say, 10 o'clock in the evening, because I was just running around and doing home stuff, cleaning, washing, etc., etc. So it's like 10, 15 minutes that I would have spent, yeah, watching TV between eating and going to bed. So yeah, those are my mods. Look up on Google and that. Quite easy to find schematics, and all the parts you need are found online. Just be careful. It's like anything with electricity, it can go wrong, so just double check yourself. Like with my gun, I accidentally wired up the MOSFET wrong. Luckily it was just the MOSFET that I wired up wrong, and it actually just didn't fire, didn't do anything. I was lucky that it didn't, well, do anything. When I wired up correctly, it had done. Got my Cosmic Drops t-shirt on, Taste the Galaxy. Yeah, proud owner of a couple of vape related shirts, and a big thanks to all the guys that have given them to me. So yeah, nothing much to chat about on what I'm vaping on. It's pretty much the same thing I was vaping on yesterday. I'm not going to change all my vapes from one day to the next, although I put it away. I've got my RDTA juiced up for work for tomorrow. Obviously in tomorrow's video I'll tell you what I'm vaping on then. Otherwise, yeah, I think that's about. Oh, actually, let me do this quickly. Batteries. I might do battery wraps at another time, but battery cases. I buy these eFest dual battery cases, purely the 2 battery cases, because I don't have anything that does take more than 2 batteries. But everything is marked. Now obviously you see a nice little sticker on there, it's just to adorn it. I did start writing on these things, although you can see that sort of comes off. So on the top, like, now I'll know what this means, it might be backwards to you. This is a VTC4 and it's single, so these are used for single battery mods. Like this one will be VTC5A, and this is a dual, so I'll use these in dual to keep my batteries married. Everything is marked, everything has a place in its place, and I think that's very important, especially if you've got single battery mods and dual battery mods, to keep everything separate and everything nice. And I'm using a pair of batteries. Obviously these are sitting by my mods next to me because I'm actually physically using them in mods. My 2700 batteries, I found these 18650 batteries, silicon battery sleds fit them just. These I got from Sir Vape. Still looking for decent battery cases, because I prefer battery cases as much as I love these things. They can get torn and they aren't quite the right size, if you can have a look there, but strained. And with these, I dropped one of these the other day, the case shattered, the batteries were 100%. So I mean, doing exactly what they were designed for. I have, although, added to it by putting some foam at the bottom, so when the batteries are in, there's very little movement up and down. Obviously if I give them a real go, you can hear, but there is very little movement between, or non-existent movement between up and down, and I think that just adds to, personally, it just makes me feel a bit safer. So yeah, getting a bit on now. So yeah, so much for the 26th of December, Boxing Day here in South Africa. It's been a warm one, but I have spent most of mine inside, just cleaning, getting everything ready for this week at work. I don't, in fact, have holidays. I'm a locksmith. We don't get the privilege. And anyway, there's never a time that people don't need keys or a locksmith or something. So until tomorrow, keep it cloudy.